Welcome to the Broken Sun. Welcome back, everyone. This is Stories of a Broken Sun. We're in our second season at the moment. Our second season is named Specters of a Broken Sun, but at the moment, we're not with the Specters. We are instead following the Sunbreakers, our heroes from Season 1, and we are going to be seeing exactly where they are going. They have taken off from the sun, left through the wound in the sun that was left by Keva's attack on an auditor back in Season 1, and have flown out the old spaceport, which was opened up by Sun forces. They are on their way to meet with a group from the Hygiene Logistocracy's fleet that are not on board with the Sun's plans for the habitat and the settlement thereof. So when last we left off, the Express was making its way through the old spaceport and out into space. But before we get there, we're first going to introduce everyone who's here today. And after that, we're going to get some news bursts, both from the sun and from the surface, that you would be receiving on the Express before you make your way outside. Before we get started introducing everyone, I want to acknowledge that this podcast is produced on the unceded territory of the Katzie, Kwikwetlem, Stalo, Kwantlen, Stz'uminus, and Musqueam people, and the treaty land of the Tsawwassen First Nation. I would urge you to continue supporting Indigenous land protectors in every way that you can. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we don't forget that Black Lives Matter. It's falling out of social media a little bit lately, but those protests are still ongoing, as well they should be. Keep at it. You can find ways that you can contribute at blacklivesmatters.card.co. That's card with 2 R's, and Black Lives Matters with an S. Links, of course, will be in the show notes. So today we are joined by 4 players. First, I'll introduce Keekers.
Hello, everyone. Me, Keekers, also known as Space Cat. Today, I guess I'm playing mostly Eva Jarma, who is she, her. I am also she, her, and we might hear a word or two from CD, who is they, them.
Thank you. We're also joined by Velvet today.
I'm Velvet Feifei. I'll be playing Maeve, the Mother of Monsters, she, her, and perhaps some other characters who may or may not pop up.
We shall see. Where do we find you if we want to?
You can find me pretty much everywhere on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar.
Excellent. We're also joined by Mike.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Mike Blood. I go by Good Sir Blood on Twitter. They, them. Tonight, I'll be playing Emran Pak, he, him, our lovable beefcake.
Excellent. And we're joined by Trudy.
Hi, I'm Trudy. My pronouns are they, them. My character is Zora, who goes by she, her. She is the Sword of Gov.
Does she still think of herself that way?
Not really anymore. We probably should come up with a new title for her.
Maybe we will. And I'm Matt, or ARP. My pronouns are here, they. You can find me on Twitter at YCaliber. You can follow the show at Broken Sun RPG. So you are aboard the Express. Would you all be on the, I guess?
Yes, Keva's sitting in that captain's chair.
As she should.
Yeah.
As you recall, the bridge is a large semicircular shape. There is a raised dais for the captain with the captain's station, and then there's a couple of consoles arranged around the front. Then there's the large window that lets you see outside and is probably actually just a display screen that displays what you can see outside.
So a bit like the USS Enterprise.
This basic idea of, the Express, I don't know if we've described it recently. The Express is a space bus, and it has been, I would say at this point, heavily modified by you and by Hub themselves. So it has a central ovoid compartment with the bridge at the front and then passenger space in the back. And there are some side rooms that were like private areas that you've converted into workshops, bedrooms, and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. The 2 very large engines on the side look sort of like chicken drumsticks. They can rotate up and down to let the ship move very nimbly, both through atmosphere and through space. And it's silver and blue with some gold detailing and different colored lights. It's got some weaponry mounted on it now. The Express is a semi-sentient ship. It's kind of like has the attitude, or not the attitude, the personality of an excitable bird, a very intelligent, excitable bird.
So, like a crow.
Like an excitable crow, yes.
Yes, Keva is telling it gossip right now.
What if the crow was Sonic the Hedgehog? That's the Express.
Mm.
Express likes to go fast.
So wait, like
Fan art incoming.
jet?
Maybe? I'm not familiar. Okay, so you are making your way through habitat space. You're all hanging out on the bridge, and up on the screen, you are getting updates. Because now that you're outside of the sun's corona of interference, you're able to access the wave, which means that you can get in touch with the people on the surface of the habitat, though you are in a bit of a hurry. So if there's anyone in particular that your characters want to talk to before you make your way out into space, think about that while I'm giving you the updates. The first set of updates that you would get are from the sun. Before you make your way too far, you get the last bits of news that you're going to receive from the inside of the sun for some time. And of course, most of the news on the sun is from the Huatang Media Group, which is basically state-funded propaganda machine. So they've got a little jingle like do 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 do. Good evening, Solar Free State. I'm Machete Clarity, and this is Huatang News Entertainment. Tonight, I'm joined by Radical Extreme King via SimChat. Thank you for joining us tonight. My pleasure, Machete. Your avatar is looking very stylish. Thank you. You are looking as avant-garde as always. Oh, I always try to look moderate despite my name. They both exchange a chuckle. Now, you've recently come out as a member of the socialist political group known as the Resistance. You are aiming to change how we run things around here. What made you join this group of dissidents? Now, look, we in the Resistance believe that our current administration, both corporate and military, has a lot to answer for. There are many reforms that we want to implement, and we want to do that by getting a seat at the table. The power structure has been static for a long time now, too long, and it's time for more people like us to get their voices heard. We need elections. We need people who care about this to be able to vote. He takes a sip of water in his stolen body. Mr. King, we have not held elections in more than 300 years, and things have been fine. We are, after all, in a state of emergency. Wouldn't it just be a slippery slope to anarchy and societal collapse, like the Surface Liberation Front wants? Extreme makes a sour face. No. Back on Earth, most of the people who live in this station came from countries that held elections. The United Shareholders of America, Russia, the UK, Canada, sure that everyone had their voices heard, and a way to hold the people in power accountable. This Surface Liberation Front nonsense isn't productive, though. We need people who can make decisions quickly and decisively. We need strong military and economic power. Hell, even the people down in Gov's domain need us. We provide them with protection, with sunlight and power. When we arrived, they didn't even have weapons. And their solar array didn't even remotely simulate the experience of a real sun. Don't get me wrong. I agree that the trade needs to be better regulated between us. And I think we need to explore giving them representation up here. But that has to start with the regular folk of the sun getting some power of our own. We can't help the poor souls in Gov's domain if we can't even get the Solar Free State to listen to us. We'll make these changes in the legislation, not in the streets. What do you think of the recent actions of these so-called Sunbreakers from Gov's domain? I can't condone them. We're on the same side, like I said, but these acts of wanton destruction and vandalism aren't helping their cause. They're like children throwing a tantrum because they can't have their cake and eat it too. In fact, they are children. You can't change the way things are done this quickly, and especially not by vandalizing monuments and carrying out terrorist attacks on critical station infrastructure. Changes need to happen, and it needs to be gradual. Their attack on Olympian interior design has had a cascading effect on the power grid. And now thousands of people in the mid and outer layers are without reliable SIM access. That's a mental health issue, and it's on the hands of these Sunbreakers. There are riots. Nimbus has had to deploy their new crowd control tanks because so many businesses are being looted and destroyed. People could get hurt. You have to approach this rationally and play the long game, like I've been doing. After all, I'm Extreme King, not Extremist King. The two share a laugh. The other big story on everyone's minds is the fleet from the Hygean Logistocracy. General Major Payne and Chairman Elmo Snuck made a statement recently that this fleet was here to help quell the uprising in Gov's domain, and that they would be compensated with land seized from the rebels. What is the stance of the resistance on this prudent arrangement? Extreme King leans forward, looking more serious. I think we need to be really careful here. We don't know what those people have become in the centuries since we all fled the emergency, and they've been living in caves with aliens that whole time. Who are they now? What are their values? Their priorities? Do they still honor deals? And what of these Andromedans and Centaurans? Is land in Gov's domain even useful for them? No, I don't like it. Our existing military is more than enough to deal with this uprising. and seeking help from this X Factor was a mistake. I fear we'll all pay the price for General Payne and Elmo Snuck's moment of weakness here. They didn't have faith in our troops, and now we're going to have to find a way to deal with these outsiders. Thank you for your time, Extreme King. Before we hear a word from our sponsor, is there anything you would like to promote? Yes, thank you, Machete. I've got a new movie coming out this week, The Last Auditor, which is based on a true story. It's about a man from the sun, played by me, who crash lands in Gov's domain shortly after the emergency and learns the ways of their people before helping them with new technologies and innovations from his own lands, our very own sun. It's a great exploration of their unique culture and the ways we can learn from each other. I think it's just the kind of healing story we need right now, and a potent reminder that, though we are separated by miles and mores, we and the people of Gov's domain are not so different after all. Powerful. Good night, Mr. King. And now a word from our sponsor, Joseph Grant ACM, for all your banking needs. It cuts to a commercial and the screen cuts off at that time, waiting until the next news segment. How are the people here responding to this news?
Oh, Zora's ticked. She just has nothing to say to that, but it's very visible on her face that she is absolutely furious.
Hmm.
Emran is trying to reattach a panel he tore out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you shouldn't have too much difficulty putting it back in place, but the Express itself is concerned by this display
Yeah.
and communicates with Keva asking, giving the impression of concern, like, is everyone okay?
I am sorry for that.
Keva's face is very red, and her hair has kind of done that Ghibli thing where it's all stuck out on end and it escaped from its braids, even the natural hair.
Wow.
And she's very upset, visibly, but not saying anything, just very ticked off. And I would like to just say that CD, like, you can't hear it, but somewhere is an echoing screech and tearing of paper by CD.
Poor CD is such a fan of Extreme King.
Yeah.
How's Maeve?
She's clenching her fists like the point of like white knuckling and digging her claws into her palms, but just takes a deep breath and goes, "Should have brought down more buildings."
We are not kids, is the first thing Keva says. We are adults. And second of all, they can't take the land from us because it's ours. Puts her forehead into her palm.
It's at this time that the Express helpfully puts up the next segment of the news that you receive here. You get the little jingle again, and there's a different anchor this time. Shocking new revelations today in the story of the unprovoked terrorist attack on the Sim servers last week. Now that more of the employees have been decanted, they have been able to share the story of what happened in the server room that day. And while our gentle viewers will be horrified, we do not think that you will be surprised. This senseless assault on the very core of our society's mental health support program was carried out by none other than the so-called Sunbreakers, who seek to destroy our way of life. We go now to footage downloaded directly from one victim's memory. And here you see the server room as you remember it from that mission, with a big pillar full of matrix text and all the workers are cowering, but from the point of view of one of the workers there. Suddenly, the door bursts open and Keva, Emran, and Maeve burst into the room, brandishing weapons. This is when you immediately know that this footage has been doctored.
Yeah.
Emran bellows, "Nobody move!" and levels a gigantic machine gun on the room. Employees begin to shout and scream in fear, but Maeve and Keva circle around to the sides, Maeve using spider webs to trap people in place and Keva lassoing them with her hair. "What do you want?" asks someone off screen. "Please, don't hurt us." "We're here to destroy the Sim," Emran bellows with a twisted smile on his face, "and all of you with it." "Not so fast, rebel scum," comes a voice from outside, just as 4 heroic Section Blue officers arrive. "You won't get away with this. Not on Section Blue's watch." The camera zooms in on a central figure, Whiskey Tango. "You can't stop us. You can't stop the revolution," Emran cries, opening fire on the room with his machine gun. The Section Blue officers selflessly leap in front of the civilians, but it's too late. There are screams, but the footage cuts out before it gets too graphic. "As you can see, these violent terrorists will stop at nothing to destroy our way of life. If you have any information on their whereabouts, or the whereabouts of their traitorous allies, the Surface Liberation Front, please contact Section Blue or your local authorities at once. Whiskey Tango is currently in recovery following this violent altercation, but is expected to return to the force very soon. We send him all of our thoughts and prayers." You hear a different anchor shout, "We love you, Whiskey Tango," in the background before the segment ends.
To add a little bit of levity to the moment, did Maeve shoot out spider webs the way Spider-Man does?
Oh no.
I'm not sure. What do you think is in the footage?
That's for you to decide, Velvet. What do you want?
That'd be great. I'm down for that.
Oh, I'm getting major, like, the lassoing hair thing, like, flashbacks to this graphic novel I read as a kid by Shannon Hale, where Rapunzel had used her hair as a lasso. This was before Disney's Tangled, I should mention.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I'm just sort of imagining that this version of Keva just had outrageously long braids that she then used as a lasso. Are these doctored versions of us anything like the real us?
Yeah, it looks exactly like you.
But Keva was wearing a mask.
They have footage enough that they're able to reconstruct a convincing replica of each of the three of you at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, any responses from the characters to this, or do we want to move on to the news from the surface?
I really have nothing to say.
It was just like, they can't even get things right. Like, Maeve can't shoot spider webs out of her hands or whatever that is. And my hair doesn't look like that. And Emmerich doesn't have a gun.
True,
Yep.
Emran gave the gun to Maeve.
And also, like, that's not even Emmerich voice.
I could only hear that. Did they get the scar right?
Did they get the scar right?
They did. It looks just like you.
Yeah, they got the. Yeah, I know what we look like now.
Good.
Good. Yeah, good.
I mean, they didn't get the hair right.
Some things are difficult for CGI to replicate properly. Okay, so you've got some news packets from the surface. You get one from Denton Young, obviously, and it starts off with a reminder. I believe I told you to return at once. Where are you? We have need of you down here. There's a fleet harassing. Aren't you aware? And there's it's not a direct conversation at the moment. It's just he's going off at the moment, and then he gives you a little update. Well, I suppose you should know what's going on at the moment down here on the surface. If you're not going to come and help us, I'll at least tell you what's happening here. And he gives you a rundown of what's happening here. Den is currently in control of sectors 2, 3, and 4, and the remains of Bodhi, which is sector 1, the spire that he destroyed earlier. So he's in control of probably the largest chunk of the remaining Gov's domain. He doesn't give a lot of details about how he's exerting that power or what's going on down there. He does show you some pictures, some footage. There's giant monsters wandering around down there now, which might be surprising to some of you. You see like an aerial shot, probably taken from one of those flying auditors. You see one that's like a lion with a turtle shell. You see there's one that is rising up out of the ocean. It's not entirely clear what it is because there's so much water, but it's gigantic.
Oh, that's so cute.
You see a herd of things that look like they could be frogs, but they have wings. And they're all flying together in this sort of mass, like how you see birds flocking, except they're frogs. All kinds of other things that we'll get to later on. But the surface is changing as well. Some of the parts of Sector 3 have started blooming, are no longer desert, and are becoming more fertile-looking land. Notably, there's light. It's not full sunlight, but it's getting there. And Denton explains that this is from what's called a solar array. He and Lean have been going through all of the old documentation they were able to find in the archives at Bodhi, and are slowly working to bring the actual habitat systems back online. So that's progress that's being made. They've got teams outside on the hull cleaning off the mirrors so that power can be brought back in properly. Okay, that's what you get from Denton. So he just gives you an update on what the power structure looks like. He mostly focuses on what he's in control of. You get some notices from Lean. She says, I'm sure you're all doing great work up there on the sun. It hasn't fully exploded yet, so we're just, time's ticking. We've got high hopes. But while that's going on, I've been able to keep Den from doing too many, horrible things down here. So he's tractable enough, but I don't know how long that's going to hold out. He's a stubborn guy, as we all know. He's got ideas, and my ideas are better, but he does have more power at the moment than I do. There are some other folks who've been taking control in other sectors right now. Notably, Sector 5 is under martial law. Things are very bad there. We're working on getting an expedition set up. Den doesn't want to waste the resources, as he says, but I'm going to bring my own team in, see what we can do. Sectors 6 and 7, they are both under the control of somebody who claims to be Sun Minister De Winton, but I'm pretty sure that's impossible because Den killed him. along with all the other high ministers when he blew up the tower at Bodhi. But anyway, this guy's claiming that he's Sun Minister to Winton, and that's enough for him to have control of these two sectors, 6 and 7. Not the best or the strongest sectors, but lots of people there. Church is still going strong. People still have a lot of belief in Gov. There are some schisms taking place, as I'm sure you can imagine. It's an exciting time down here. Hope to see you soon. Good luck. We are being invaded by a fleet from another part of space, so maybe get on that. And that's the note from Lean. Are there any notes you want to receive personally from friends or family of your characters? Mandakai is receiving her own stuff privately in her room.
Keva is excitedly asks Mandakai, "Did you get a love letter?" She grins.
He says, "Oh, just a status update, but the status is very sexy." She winks and flares out her wrap as she goes back into her room.
Does Emran hear from his brother?
Do you?
I hope so.
Okay. What do you think your brother has to say? Where do you think he would be?
I think he's probably with the loyalists.
Okay, in Sector 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does he have to say to you?
Probably wondering if all the stories are true. And then probably not bothering to urge Emran to come back or anything, but just to give him proof that anything that is aside from the education of Gov is true. He wants to believe something else, and he's like desperate for a change. It's probably the first time I've heard from him since I was adopted by Hector.
Okay. Do you send anything back?
Probably I probably record like a quick message.
Okay. You don't have to know what that message is right now. We can put it in later, or if you already know, it's fine.
Yeah, Emran does that. I'll decide what it says.
Okay. Who else? Do you think Zora hears from anybody?
I can't think of anyone that would be able to reach her.
What about Squall Quanjoy?
Would they be able to reach her?
Yeah, I mean they're with Den and Lean at the moment. As far as no, we don't know where they are because last we saw them, they were in the middle of nowhere with a sandboat.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
don't know
why. That's
where
why I
they
was
are.
like, wait, are they with Den?
Oh no, they've been eaten by Ubasi.
Ugh.
Yeah, they were well outside the domain in that sand ship.
They were adopted by that slope-back monstrosity emerging from the sea.
Mm.
I mean, they're basically Zora's only friends. So,
Yikes.
I mean,
Unfortunate.
harsh.
You've
That Squall
upgraded.
and Quanjoy are canon dead. That's unfortunate.
I
I'm
mean,
sure they're fine.
I think you have to ask the players. Are they dead? Like, ask
Yeah,
them.
I'll talk to Pat and Dustin and see what they think.
Are your characters dead?
You do have an apprentice of sorts.
Oh, yeah.
Less of a sword, more of a dagger, but yeah.
I'm more of a narc.
Oof. No, she's chill.
Nah.
I know Maeve's not a
Mad
fan.
beef.
Oh,
So
geez, what was her name?
That's
Carla?
where I am.
Carla?
Carla, yes.
Carla Alwong. Yeah. I'm sure she has sent you a message detailing the work that she's doing. She's working directly with Den as his, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Assistant, but like
Aide de camp.
minister, clerk.
Administrative assistant?
Yeah, she's working as his clerk, basically.
How does she feel about Den now? Because I can say that Zora's opinion of Den has changed significantly over time.
I think she is still pretty impressionable and still views Den as like the strong man the domain needs.
Oh, poor child.
I want to say that a lot of people have probably started like inadvertently like worshiping Hub.
Yeah, we'll get to what you hear from Hub as well.
Oh boy.
I mean, a part of me wants to be that Keva's dad has kind of reached out a little bit, but if we're going to talk about other characters,
Do you think you heard from him?
I think he's probably, it's not direct contact, so I think that this guy that I have imagined as Keva's dad, not wanting to get his daughter in trouble, but then would basically just kind of touch base. Because, like I said, it's not like he can't hurt her exactly. Like, he can't bring the church's ire upon her by contacting her at this point, and it would just basically be like, hey, I don't know if you heard, but I'm alive. I was part of Mandakai's group, but when you visited, things were too hectic for me. I didn't get the chance, to really come forward and talk, but I've been with them for a while, and now I'm helping out here. I'm really proud of you, and I'm still, looking for your half-brother that I found out about, basically.
How does Keva feel about this?
I think she's surprised, and also how would I have found out he was alive unless Mandakai told me? Did Mandakai know?
No, she didn't know.
Yeah, Keva asks, what? Okay then, I guess.
Mandakai did not know that was your dad.
Yeah, Keva is after that she's happy, but also kind of just bewildered a bit, but also just I would say Keva is just mostly confused at this point.
Understandable reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You get an update from Hub.
Yay!
Hub's doing fine. Hub spends a lot of their time as a sort of a colossus these days. They are using their gigantic stature to help rebuild a lot of stuff and work on the excavation of things like the solar array and different transit facilities and so on. So Hub is acting as a hub, as is their wont. People come through. The Revel of Velico is still living with Hub, but there are also communities that have grown up around where Hub hangs out. There's little towns that have begun to form of people, some of whom view Hub as one of the gods. Hub's not comfortable with this in the least and does everything they can to discourage these worshippers, but you know how people can be. There's little shrines to Hub being set up around, where they have their feet and people sending prayers, and Hub is just I don't do that. If you need to get over there, I can help you with that. Beyond that, no thank you. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but no thank you. No, none of that, thanks. So that's what's going on with Hub.
I just realized something. How's Jolly doing?
Jolly's great. Jolly's thriving.
Jolly's a mother of 4 now.
Don't tease me like that.
Jolly's living her best life. There's on Hub's back in Colossus form is this. It looks like a backpack that sticks out, and it's just a plateau where all the farming is taking place on the back of Hub's Colossus form. And when they revert back to a less humanoid form, that remains on the top to get better access to the solar array and all that. So that's where the farm is. That's where Deg is installed, just in this plateau on Hub's back. And Jolly and the other creatures, Chitter and so on, they all live there. They're having a great time. Okay, that's basically all the updates, but you now know, all of your characters now know basically what life is like on the habitat. It's a time of warring states in a lot of ways. There's this warlord in Sector 5, there's whoever this is in Sectors 6 and 7, and then there's Den trying to assert a new type of control, installing himself essentially as the new head of the Church of Gov and the domain of Gov at the same time. Yeah, Den still sees himself as Gov's chosen hero, Gov's chosen champion, blessed of Gov, Denton Young. And a lot of people buy that. And why wouldn't they? He's immensely powerful. He's charismatic. He's attractive. He has a great sword. He can make the sun go where he wants it to go. What's not to believe in? So there's a cult of personality forming around this young man as well. Okay. As you come to the end of these messages that you are receiving and sending to the people in the habitat, you are approaching this giant mountain that sticks out of the side of the habitat. And that is the old spaceport. And this old spaceport is currently held by the forces of the sun. You can see they don't have spaceships, but you can see as you approach, there are people there crawling around on the different parts of the mountain, like gantries and docks and so on and so forth. And the Express is able to zoom in and enhance those images. And you can see that each of these people is in a human body, and they all have green skin, and they are all pretty much identical.
Oh no. How do they look?
Very healthy.
Are they all heroes?
Oh, thank you.
They're not all Heros. In fact, none of them look like Heros.
Interesting.
I mean, they look like Harrows in that they have green skin.
Right.
And
Okay.
beyond that, there's the obvious conclusion to draw here about what's happened here. And that's the result of a series of clocks that took place with human resources and the sodality of preservation taking over Phoenix and beginning to mass produce these organic bodies, which they've put something into to have them act as, I don't know, soldiers, technicians. It's hard to say from here, but they are patrolling, they're armored, and they are presumably going to be able to see you if you try and make your way through this spaceport. So what do you want to do?
I think we need to talk to Harrows and have Harrows talk to them and say, these are my friends, don't hurt them.
I don't think that they have free will, Keva.
Well then, I'm pretty good at breaking chains.
I mean, maybe there's somebody nearby running them?
We can try that too. I'm just saying that they shouldn't be controlled like that, like this.
Oh, for sure.
Is there any way like Keppa could try to interact with one of them?
You could try to capture one. You'd probably need to find somewhere to dock the ship, or maybe you jump out of the ship. I don't know if you want to do a paratrooper style insertion, or if you want to find somewhere to land and then try and sneak around. There's a couple different ways you can approach the old spaceport, but I think that is today's mission. Get into and through the spaceport somehow.
In the Express, right?
Preferably, I would assume.
Okay.
Can we like communicate with Barry? Like,
you cannot.
Oh crap!
There's a corona around the sun that prevents communications from going in and out.
Okay, so we can't just be like, "Hey Terry, what does Harrow say?" or not say.
Unfortunately, not.
Or CD. CD would have info about. Probably not. Maybe some. I mean, I think that Maeve has maybe like we could have Maeve roll something about what Maeve has learned from studying Harrows. That might be a possibility.
Anything I know about Harrows would probably just be what CD told me.
Like, I don't know, is there a chance that like there is something that you can roll and see if you've observed something about their genetic or yeah.
We could stash the ship and just observe their behavior, see if they talk to each other. Anything we could learn now is going to be more than we know.
Good point. Good point. Okay, you want to do that?
We could touch down and maybe split up, keep the ship hot just in case, and then, I don't know, Maeve, you and I can go observe them.
I mean, better than observe, we should try to catch one.
We could do that too.
Okay, so your goal is to make your way through the ship. If you want to do this type of thing where you're going to capture one of these people, then that's probably a mission that we'll need to do, like a roll and all that for. So let's see here. This is a role-playing game. Thank you.
Aha!
I didn't know, and now I do.
Knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe
is an actual play podcast using multiple TTRPG rule sets.
So the types of plan here, you've got assault, deception, infiltration, mystic, social, or transport. This sounds like it might be a deception or an infiltration. If it's a deception, you need to let me know the detail for this plan is the method of deception. How are you going to lure, trick, or manipulate? And if it's infiltration, trespass unseen, the detail is the point of infiltration. Where are you going to get in or through?
I would say infiltration. We're not really talking to anyone to deceive them.
Yeah. What's the point of infiltration then? You just jump out of the ship at high orbit.
It'll be ODSTs.
You can do some, you can do some gathering of information here based on what you can get from the Express's scanners or stuff like that. If you want to try and find alternate entry points or somewhere to hide the ship or something like that.
We need to find where to touch down, the Express, and then figure out our approach. I think grabbing one of them is going to be the easy part. I say this now.
Okay. Does anyone want to study some stuff or try and figure things out before? Or should we just roll our engagement and then deal with flashbacks when we get in there?
I can at least roll to try and locate like a good landing site.
Sure. How do you want to do that?
I'll do some studying.
Okay. So roll your study. This is just a gather information roll.
Button pulls. Is this risky standard?
It doesn't really matter because it's just gather information. Okay. So you get good information. While you are studying the high resolution scans that the Express is able to give you, in addition to that, the Express is able to access its memory banks and show you the layout of the old spaceport, because obviously the Express used to come through here all the time. This was part of their route. So you know what it should look like in there. and the Express is able to show you what it does look like with its scans. There isn't too much discrepancy aside from the fact that a lot of the exterior parts of the station have been covered over with debris, like all the other interior parts of the station. So you can see that there's the main entrance and there's also some maintenance entrances. And you are able to find one of these maintenance entrances that would be large enough for you to take the Express into, that does have a connection to the rest of the spaceport.
I think that's our way in.
All right. Are we setting a trap? Should we try to get magnifications of the way they move around?
We can always do that.
Let's roll the engagement and see how it goes.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. We'll cut to the action from there. Don't want to spend too long discussing minutiae. So the engagement roll. Item loadouts. What are your loadouts going to be here?
Heavy.
Always heavy.
I mean, is Keva just staying on the ship? Or is Keva allowed to go and...
No, you can go. The Express has enough autonomy you can whistle for it and it'll come to you if you want.
Yeah, I guess heavy because we're going to stick out like a sore thumb no matter what.
Yeah.
Point taken, I'm going to follow suit with heavy.
Okay. So if you go over to the characters list, I've made up a character sheet for the Express for your crew here, just so that we have one that's for your crew specifically. And you have 2 abilities on that sheet. You have Forged in Fire. So everyone on your crew, the crew of the Express, you've been toughened by cruel experience. So you each get +1 die to all resistance rolls.
Ooh.
Fantastic news for Emran.
You also have Hearts and Minds, which means you can add 1 action rating to command, consort, or sway, up to a maximum of 3.
Okay.
You have, in addition to that, Way Blessed, which means you start with an extra gambit point. So you have 3 gambits to start with at the beginning of each mission. Okay, so for the engagement roll, you start with 1 die for sheer luck. Then we modify the dice pool for major advantages or disadvantages. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? I don't know that it is if you're just going in here to grab somebody. Like you're not running the blockade heroically or anything like that.
Nah, it's just a quick snatch and grab.
Yeah, I think likewise it's not overly complex, so that's a wash. Does the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Is it strongest against this approach? I think because the people holding the spaceport probably don't know about this area you're going to, I'll add an extra die there. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? No. No enemies or rivals other than the people that you're taking on, so you're still at 2 die. Other elements you want to consider: a lower tier target will give you +1, a higher tier will give you -1. I don't think the tier is that important here, so we're going to do 2 die, and I'll just roll for engagement. Hey, 6.
Noise.
That's good.
Wow.
So
I literally never get that.
No. So you begin your engagement in a controlled position. All right. The Express flies in nice and smooth, turns off its running lights, and I think you're able to use the force field to create enough interference that they can't pick you up on different kinds of sensors. So nice and smooth into the maintenance port here. You land. There are still things in place that can easily connect up to the Express. And you get out. Are all of you going together? I think you said you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I think Keva is imagining that she is the last resort at this point when it comes to dealing with individuals.
Okay. So in a controlled position, that means your goal here is to grab somebody. So you are, all of you, crouching. As we cut into the action, the camera shows us that you are all crouching on a catwalk here. And below the catwalk is some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? A wide open space in a transit atrium. An atrium, is that what I'm thinking of?
Probably
an atrium. So you're on this catwalk, and go ahead.
I was just imagining, as soon as you said under this catwalk is a wide open space, I just imagined it was one of those giant death pits of electronics in Star Wars.
Now, this is actually a nice welcoming space. It's just kind of dusty and disused because it hasn't been used in 300 years.
Is it kind of like Grand Central Station where the ceiling is decorated? And
yeah,
it's really pretty.
It's very similar to the inside of Hub. So, which is modeled on Grand Central Station. So it's a nice welcoming space. You can see that there's ramps to help people get where they're going, different lifts, decor, one of those clock tower things that you found Hub's core in before. And yeah, it's just a nice, well-organized space, well laid out. And you can see underneath you on the floor, there are a pair of these green people, and they are standing next to each other. They've got their assault rifles on their shoulders, and they're wearing their power armor, and they appear to be talking to each other, but you can't hear them just yet. They're in a controlled position, so they haven't noticed you.
I can tell you what they're saying. One of them says to the other, "You ever wonder why we're here?"
Perfect. Griffin Simmons. Just real quick, because I might have missed that little bit. We can tack on another point to any of our resolve skills, or just like the 3 social ones?
Command and shorter spell.
Up to a maximum of 3.
Okay, cool.
So what's the play?
I don't. The two of you use a spider web and go down and land on top.
I do want power armor, so.
We could try to take both of them.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I want to know what they're saying, because they're obviously communicating with each other, which is good.
More than I thought.
I would like to go gadget spider form.
Okay. You can see that their helmets are open, and they're just, you can see their mouths moving and their heads bobbing up and down as if they are talking to each other. Maeve, you morph into a spider. And are you attempting, the two of you, to sort of drop down on them from up here?
I want to listen first.
You want to listen first?
You want to listen in first. Okay. What kind of action do you think that'll be? Or
Scum.
do you have anything that'll help you do that?
Oh, no, I'm first and foremost built for smashy.
Maybe we could try to listen as we rappel down. Does that work?
Yeah, that's my hope. It sounds like a skulk for either action, at first anyway.
Okay. Is one of you helping the other?
Do you have any skulking, Mike?
Surprisingly, Emran is a single dot of sneaky, so you can burn some stress to help me if you want.
Sure. Or I can use my special move to have 2 skulk.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll burn some stress to help you.
All right, rad. Tubular.
I just imagine Keva whispering to Zora, "If they need help, we can lower down on my hair."
Hello, Rapunzel.
Oh.
All right. I'm a doctor, not a Mission Impossible stunt actor.
Okay. So you're in a controlled position. I think you'll have standard effect from up here.
And that for the help, is that a bonus die or greater effect?
Either.
I always forget.
Either
Or
one.
is it bonus die?
Yeah, it's either one.
Is Maeve crawling across the ceiling?
No, I'm rappelling us down from the catwalk.
Hey, you needed it.
Okay. So as you are rappelling down, so you're listening here with your skulk, and you're able to hear, maybe with some enhanced ear modifications, the conversation happening between these two that you can see as you're getting closer to them are physically identical, at least the parts of them that you can see their faces.
They're twins.
And one of them is saying to the other, "Citizen, I am not certain what it is that we're expected to patrol for here. I'm not certain what we're trying to patrol for here either, citizen. Citizen, perhaps we should patrol a different area. I think that would be a good idea, citizen." They have the exact same voice, the same mannerisms as Whiskey Tango.
Oh gosh.
Okay,
No.
I'm working this out real time. So Peros imprinted on CD, and then they've imprinted on. Oh,
Well, we can't make any assumptions about them yet, except that they have identical mannerisms and voices to Whiskey Tango.
Truly.
You are now in position to make a attack or snatch and grab. You've got that information.
They sound and look exactly like that super cop.
Well, we can always just dump them back after we've got what we need, preferably in space.
I don't think they had a choice. Okay, morals later. Let's grab them.
Okay. We probably need to do a roll here to grab them. What kind of action do you think it is?
I'm thinking scrap.
Okay.
Well,
Just,
Scrap's so good. It's so fast.
Yeah.
There's no cause for alarm.
Yeah. Bonk them.
I will bonk.
time for you two to drop in.
Hey. If we go for scrap, I can. If you help me, I will roll 5 dice.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing bad could happen.
Yeah, go for it.
Not a thing. Not a single thing bad.
Well, you are still in a controlled position.
I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Are you burning the stress?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm gonna spend.
I think this will have great effects as it is,
All right.
because you're dangling over them and they do not know you're there.
It's a 6.
You've got a 6 in there. Good.
There's 3 threes too.
I mean, listen, if we want to go mathematical, we've got 2 6s and an 8.
Okay.
So there, everyone.
So you've captured these two, or you've knocked them out. What does it look like? Describe this scene to me.
I think, Maeve, you drop more spider line, and I just rappel down until I'm like 5 feet above them, and then I don't know. I probably kick both in the face.
Can I have a
Like
suggestion?
swing forward. Yeah, absolutely.
So like you kick them in the face and they both like go head over heels like on the ground and they're stunned, and then you like pick them up by the back of the neck, or not the back of the neck, like the back of the collar,
Uh-huh.
and you've lifted them both up, and then Maeve comes in and like ties them up with spider silk.
Going full Spider-Man too.
We do that. And it works and nothing goes wrong.
I mean, it does work and nothing does go wrong. So you roll the 6. So you're able to yoink them back up to the catwalk. And yeah, you've got these two. Sorry, were they conscious or unconscious at this point?
Unconscious.
Okay. You have an unconscious pair of green dudes
And 2 more
tied up.
guns.
Apparently, green dudes.
All right, let's get back up on the catwalk and run them over for, I don't know, tracking, probably in the armor.
Good thinking.
I was like, I want to talk to them.
After they're not conscious right now.
You just don't want me to connect with people.
No, that's not it. I am fully afraid that they can track this armor.
Okay.
And there's probably radios in the suits.
But that was a good pun, right?
Oh,
I just got that.
Zora, you appreciate my puns, right?
Always, my dear.
Emran cries inside.
I cry every time.
All alone.
Can I help Emran scour these armor for trackers and radios?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Sick.
You're in a controlled position. What are you using to scan?
Let's see here. I have a fine hacking rig. That's really all I can think of as far as equipment goes. I have hacking tools, repair tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. You can probably use your hacking tools for that to hack into their armor and see what you can find. All right. So how do you want to do this? Or Keva, Keva, are you helping with this? Or is it just the Maeve and Emran show at the moment?
I feel like I can help Keva because Keva is better at technology.
Yeah, that's probably.
I guess. Yeah, I'll do the hack with a +1.
All right.
I'll burn stress for you.
Yeah, so she's just hacking the armor right now and not the people.
You're in a controlled position, and this will be standard effects with your gear or with Emran's gear there.
I got a
Another
6. Finally.
This is going very well
Nice.
for you so far.
Don't say a single thing, Matt.
I'm just saying, it's nice to succeed.
It doesn't happen, and that's why I'm a little anxious.
I'm nervous.
I think what happened was we brought some luck with us from playing a different system.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we reset the machine.
In the armor, you're able to see that it has basically, biometric lock on the armor and the weapons. So you need to have the same DNA as these people to use the armor and the weapons for now. That's something you could maybe work on during downtime or something like that. But yeah, they absolutely 100% have trackers in them. Like, unsurprisingly, there are bugs in these trackers and monitoring equipment that is normally on a regular basis, it is transmitting back to a central server somewhere. You have managed to, because you roll the 6 here, grab it and hack into it in between transmissions. But there is going to be a transmission soon of the location and the recorded footage and data from these suits.
So, succeeded. Can I stop that from being sent? Or make
probably
dummy information?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do something like that, you absolutely can.
Okay, so Keva's basically going to say to the machine that it is still where it was before Maeve and Emran got the drop on them.
Okay.
And basically keep on saying that is what's going on. And there's basically no way to remove, like, it's not an external tracking unit. It's an internal tracking unit.
It's built in.
Armor.
You would probably need tools that you don't have with you here to extract or reprogram this armor.
Okay.
But you can, if that's what you want to do, you can like make up a footage loop, so that it looks like they're just still down there doing whatever they were doing over the past X number of hours.
Oh, yeah.
And just have it transmit that instead of whatever is actually happening.
Yeah, Keva will do that, and obviously, so Emran, just so you know, you're gonna have to like get them out of it and do more hardware stuff, because I'm gonna loop the tracker so that it says that they're still there. But if you want to use this armor, you're gonna have to get rid of that and also hack it so that it can use other DNA because it's tuned into theirs.
I have this welding gun. Is this something I could do now, or should I? I'll wait.
Yeah, you should wait, because that can be like your project after we're done here.
Yeah, I'm taking this. I'm not sorry.
No, you don't have to feel sorry about taking.
Do you want to wake one of these people up?
Should we take them back to this express?
I mean, I want to check with the ping. Is the ping thing taken care of already, or do I need to roll for that?
No, you roll a 6 there. You've got the loop. I'm not going to mess with that unless something goes badly later. But for now, it's safe.
So there's not like a panic button they can touch if I wake one of them up?
Not that you've seen.
Okay, so Keva is going...
I don't like that.
I'm not trying to trick you.
I know.
You succeeded.
Keva's like...
Look at what you've done to me, Matt.
So Keva can like... So can I like wake one of them up and like talk to them and see like, psychic connection thing? Like, I don't know if it's good if I connect to a person like that. Or if it's bad. Is it? Keva says, facing the moral quandary of is this bad or good?
I would suggest we take them somewhere safe before you wake one up, just in case they start shouting or something.
That's a good point. Okay. So, I guess we go and bring them back to the ship.
Okay, sure.